What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is episode number 19 of the F1 2018 Career Mode Series, the Mexican Grand Prix. We're jumping straight into qualifying, pretty much jumping through all the practice programs. You guys know that we go out there to get those purples, get those resource points, and that is what we do here. So, for the most part, we are almost done in terms of getting all of our 2019 parts adapted to the car. I'd imagine that we could get that done possibly by the end of next episode, which is a phenomenal achievement, given that we have to accommodate for two departments of research and development. It's initially a bad thing right now, but I think we might come out the other side of this looking really rosy. I don't know if there were any other teams who are doing as much saving as what I am. It's going to be interesting. Time for quali.
Not long now until the lights go green for the Mexico Grand Prix qualifying. So let's get ready and see who has that pole position winning performance in them this afternoon.
Thanks, Crofty. Welcome, guys, to the Mexican Grand Prix, the start of qualifying one. Heading into this one, the pace was actually pretty promising. I already felt confident coming into this one, knowing that we were going to be pretty competitive. Whereas at USA, I always felt like I was behind the 8 ball, always chasing my teammate, always chasing those guys inside the midfield. It's weird. Like, we can turn up to a particular racetrack and just be straight on the pace, whereas others we just seem to be chasing the setup or just chasing grip or whatever it might be the entirety of the weekend. We didn't have to do that this time, and it was a welcome change. It allowed me to just get on with the job and just focus on my driving, which I always do. I don't know where I'm getting at there, but it allowed me to, I don't know, push even harder to drive the car in a way that was, fast. But in terms of the setup this weekend, we've gone pretty aggressive. I'm running with my normal setup that I've been running, like 4-6 wings is like my baseline setup, 8 ballast. But this time I'm actually running with 9 ballast just to make the overall lap speed just a little bit better. We may suffer for it a little bit in the race, but with heavy fuel, with light driving on our feet, we should be able to look after the rear tyres, and that may not be an issue. But here we are for qualifying 2. Bit hairy there through the exit of the high-speed chicanes. That is what 9 ballast will do for you if you're not careful. Almost getting caught out there, but otherwise, it's been a great lap so far. 7 tenths up as we go through the stadium section. The first lap that I did in Q2 was, of course, done on a worn set of hypersofts. That's a bit of a back-end loss through the last corner. We improved by 9 tenths, and that is a 14.0. Absolutely phenomenal time, and it gets us through to the final part of qualifying, and Charles pretty much backing us up there in P8, only 2 tenths behind us there. So even Charles is showcasing the talent that he has at the moment. Heading into this round, I forgot to mention, we unfortunately didn't get the power upgrade. That part failed, so we'll be rectifying that for the next episode. But opening run was very, very solid. On a worn set of hypersofts, we did a 14.2, which is only 2 tenths off what we did in Q2 on a fresh set. But now here we go at the end of the session with the 3 sets of hypersofts that you get given, and we are going to go for an absolute fly here. Purple to the first sector, 2,000s clear of whoever's on pole position at the moment to the first sector, and this is an absolutely phenomenal lap so far. Let's string this together and hopefully get this thing the second row. Maybe, can we go for pole? Is that even possible? It's been a perfect run through the middle sector now so far. Through the high-speed chicane, nothing to improve on. It's absolutely perfect. 4.5 tenths up, nearly even 5. We're purple again to the middle sector. And here we go, coming into the final sequence of the lap. Could we potentially get pole position for the first time in our F1 2018 career? We're literally leaving nothing on the table here. It's absolutely perfect. A little bit of a back-end loss, but it will be pole position for the Mexican Grand Prix.
We're very happy with our position. Well done.
Are you serious? I honestly thought that was pole. I really thought that was pole position. We were up by so much. Purple to the middle sector of the lap. And we fall short. And we fall short by a long way. That last corner is not good for us. I thought I got a really good run through there. I thought I absolutely nailed the lap. And for the most part, I did. So fair play. Fair play to the AI. I had nothing left to give. That was all I could muster. But yeah, there we go. I got so wrapped up in the moment there that I don't even know exactly where we qualified. It was a P6, I think it was. When are we going to get a pole position? I know it's only Season 1, and I know that we've got a lot of upgrading to do. We're a long way behind the front runners, but that had me proper excited for what could be in Season 2. Man, I'm pumped. Alright, let's go for the race now. There might be some grid penalties that elevate us up the order. We've got 300 resource points to do, to spend. We will wait until after this episode is finished before we delegate our points. We might be able to knock out all of those adaptations at the end of this episode. We'll have to wait and see. But it's time for the race now. The Mexican Grand Prix. Let's do this.
Formula One may have been absent from Mexico for 23 years, but after 2015's triumphant return, it was as if we'd never been away. In Mexico, a Grand Prix is more than just a race. It's a celebration of speed and of bravery. There's nothing quite like the atmosphere in the stadium today. They'll be drowning out the cars with their noise as they make their way through on lap 1. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk about Red Bull. They've had one retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
It's a good statistic for sure, as it demonstrates not only mechanical reliability, but consistency from both drivers as well. These are 2 of the first boxes you have to tick for any successful season.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Leclerc, Kimi Raikkonen and Alonso. Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty. Hülkenberg, Grosjean and Daniel Ricciardo. Ocon, Bottas, Pierre Gasly and Magnussen. Hartley, Stroll, Sergei Sirotkin and Sergio Perez. Van Dorn and Carlos Sainz starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
Thanks, Jeff. Welcome, guys, to the Mexican Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel on pole. Crucially for us, for Sauber, we fill out the second row, which is absolutely awesome. I don't think we've had a better starting position for a race as a team. So let's make sure we secure some really, really good points today. Vettel, he's in the ascendancy in the championship. I think he leads by 18 points. He's on pole, like I said. His nearest challenger, Daniel Ricciardo, down in like P10 with a grid penalty. Yeah, at this point of the season, if you've just got a clean slate, you don't have to take a grid penalty. You're going to be starting off pretty well for any races from here on out. So, yeah, we've obviously lucked into a good position, but with our pace, with our consistency, I think we can solidify something really good in the race too. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. But 5 red lights for the Mexican Grand Prix, and we are underway. What a start it has been. Vettel went nowhere off the line, and now he gets overtaken by Verstappen and ourselves heading into turn 1. It's going to be 3 wide. And where is Charles in all this? He might be able to make this 4 wide potentially. Into turn 1, we lead the Grand Prix. It's 3 wide. Bit of contact made between ourselves and Verstappen, but we managed to hold on. It's like 4 or 5 wide for those guys back there. That is absolutely insane. What a start to this Grand Prix. Verstappen is looking left, right, up, down, around, inside, out, trying to find a way into this lead once again, but we have that covered off and we lead the Grand Prix. Just breathe, just chill, just relax. Verstappen, just relax, all right? Just get away from me. I want to have some space, but no, he's not gonna give me an inch in this Grand Prix. He wants his victory. He wants to buy his way into the championship once again. I think he mathematically might be out of it. He's had a lot of bad luck in this season, but we'll have to do some maths potentially after this race is finished. Hamilton now slots into P2 after overtaking Verstappen in a straight line. Now we're having to defend from Hamilton. Yeah, the pace, you know, although it's probably the best it's ever been in this career mode, when we are in a straight up fight up against the front 3 teams, our car performance really does show that we're just not quite on that level yet. Still defending to the inside through the middle sector. Have to leave space for Hamilton, but he completely backs out of it there and allows Verstappen to get back into the fray. So it's been a pretty hectic start. The fact that we still lead this Grand Prix is quite an achievement in itself. We're just going to see how long we can hold on to this for, to be honest. We set the fastest lap at the end of lap 2, so that is something. I don't imagine it'll be too long before someone else knocks that time off the top of the leaderboards. But we're actually pulling away from the guys behind. The back end, though, is a little bit edgy, so I've got to watch that as I go through the middle sector chicane. But otherwise, we're controlling the race quite well. Tyre wear is getting on a bit. Rear tyres, as you would imagine, are the ones that are wearing the most in this Grand Prix. So just have to minimize the wheel spin as much as I can. But at the moment, we've got pace. Where has this pace come from? Verstappen might be a little bit slow, I'm not too sure, but the fact that we're actually pulling away from those guys is absolutely phenomenal. Lewis Hamilton gets into P2, and now he obviously has a bit more pace than Verstappen, and he closes the gap to literally nothing before taking the lead of the Grand Prix here on lap 7. Here he goes around the outside. We make a little bit of contact through turn 1, but we actually managed to hold on there and retake the lead once again. So I'm not too sure if Verstappen was suffering with, I don't know, really bad tyre wear, whether he had damage off of the first corner, what the deal was there, but he was just not a match for Hamilton or even the Ferraris, it seems. But lap 8, we're getting quite deep into this Grand Prix now. A lot of people have stopped, and now we're going to respond on the next one. Given that a lot of people outside the top 10 starting on ultra softs or even super softs, they're still going to be out there. They're still going to be circulating and probably holding up those guys who went for the undercut. So that's why I wasn't too concerned about responding all too quickly, because I know that we'll probably be able to rejoin onto the back of that queue anyway in a lap or two. But here we go into the pits now. I think we're going on to ultra soft tyres for a 2-stop. I know that this circuit is always a 2-stop. It was a 2-stop on F1 2017, and it's even more so a 2-stop on this game. As we rejoin on the circuit, it's P13. I think we got jumped by Raikkonen and Vettel. Bottas has stayed out the extra lap, so he might be able to do the overcut. But we crucially remain ahead of Hamilton, but only for like 20 seconds. He absolutely caught us napping there as we rejoin out of the pits. I was in low deployment modes. My tyres were still heating up, and he just caught me napping, plain and simple. Here goes Verstappen. This is a move for P10, but it'll be much higher than that once everyone else's pit stops shake out. So Verstappen seemingly not having the pace. I don't know what it is. Is he nursing a gearbox issue? Is it engine related? I'm not too sure, but there's a yellow flag up ahead. Someone is going slowly. It's Valtteri Bottas, who is retired from this Grand Prix, some kind of failure. He pulls off to the side, and we could potentially see a safety car. No, we do not. So we're going to have to circulate on our own, trying to get back the lead of the Grand Prix. This is Hamilton catching up to some cars who haven't stopped yet. In front of them is Sebastian Vettel, I believe. So he has the effective lead of the Grand Prix. He must have stopped quite early in this one to get the lead once again. But Hamilton goes to the move. We're in the slipstream and DRS of him and Van Dorn. We go to the inside. We might even be able to get Hamilton here. Look at the slipstream. We've come out of nowhere, and that is effectively maybe the lead of the Grand Prix once again. What a move. Here's the replay. Just straight line speed for days. Just I'm speechless. Absolutely speechless. I thought we'd be able to get Van Dorn, but I did not expect to get Hamilton in that same move. But I think, effectively, we have the lead of the Grand Prix once again. Raikkonen stopped really early. I don't know, he might be on a free stop, or his tyres are going to be so worn to the fact that we might be able to re-overtake him. That's why I say that we have the effective lead of the Grand Prix. But we'll have to wait and see. It's lap 13 now. Here goes Hamilton up the inside, and for some reason, I'm electing to just let him go back through here. So all that hard work is now kind of down the drain after only one lap of being in front of him. I decided to let him go, trying to save my battery a little bit and actually use him as a leapfrog to get towards Raikkonen. So we're playing the long game here. We're doing the best thing for us, trying to run our fastest race possible. But it's risky. Hamilton could well and truly get away, and it looks like he might be doing so at the moment. He's catching up to Ocon. Raikkonen sets the fastest up of the Grand Prix, so that kind of eradicates any pace issues that I thought he was having in this race. But now we're getting held up behind Ocon, and it's going to be imperative that we get in front of him ASAP. He goes defensive into the stadium section. Hamilton is getting away. Meanwhile, all this is happening. So there we go, we get the job done. That is P3 once again, but the gap to Hamilton I think is just going to be too great now. He's outside of 1 second. We're not going to get any slipstream benefit from back here. No DRS, no nothing. So it's going to be down to us in our natural pace to try and catch up to him again. But to be honest, we didn't have the pace over the Mercedes. It was questionable over Red Bull, but not Mercedes or even Ferrari for that matter. So it's going to be tough to get back in the lead. But to be fair, we're still on a Sauber, and a podium would still be an absolutely amazing result, given where we are at this point in the Career Mode Championship. But we're just marching on now, halfway through the Grand Prix. Hamilton is now stretching out the advantage, 5 seconds. I thought Vettel was in front of me. Safety car has been deployed. Okay, well, hang on a second. Hang on a second. This changes the game. We're going to dive in. Despite the tyres still having a little bit of life in them, we're actually going to dive in. We're going to put on the hardest compound, that being the super soft tyres, and going to the end of the race if we can. It looks like everyone else is responding at this point, and we are all going to be on a level playing field, I would say, as we rejoin on the circuit. It's very close between us and Brendan Hartley, and we just get out in front of him. Had to kind of swerve in front of him to make sure that he didn't take that position, and I think he was even lifting off before the point anyway. We got to the end of the pit lane before he could overtake us, so that is our position. But like I was going to say, I thought Vettel was already in front of me in this race, so I definitely got that kind of mixed up. Ocon is right in front of me. He still needs to make another pit stop, but otherwise it is all to play for in this Mexican Grand Prix. Of course, Hartley right behind me still needs to make another stop.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember there is no overtaking until the first safety car line. Stay in position until the green flags.
And it looks like they're going to stay in the queue despite having a safety car period, despite having a chance to make it a stop. They are going to stay out. So the cars directly in front and behind me are not effectively in this race. So need to clear Ocon as quickly as we can. This slow build up to the restart has really knocked around my tyre temperatures. And as such, from the restart, we just got nothing to really play with there out of the final corner. And as such, we might be under threat from Pierre Gasly here, so we're going to have to put it up in overtake mode. We've saved up all of our battery over the course of this safety car restart. But here we go. Here comes Vettel as well. He's going to shape a move to go round the outside of Gasly here into turn 1. He gets the job done. It's still side by side for the two of those guys, but I'd imagine it wouldn't take Vettel too long to get in front of him anyway. So next up is Ocon. They've been setting up the move. The tyres finally started to heat up and switch on, if you will. And now we are making the move for P3 in this Grand Prix onto the podium for the Mexican Grand Prix. And there we go. Secure. Job done. Let's stretch away from Vettel if we can. Hopefully Ocon can stay out just that little bit longer and hold up Vettel. That would really help out my race. We got our second warning, I believe, for corner cutting in this Grand Prix. So one more and it's a penalty. And given the closeness of Vettel behind, I do not want penalties to come into this. But meanwhile, Vettel's got issues of his own. This is Verstappen. No, it's Ricciardo actually going for a move around the outside into turn 1. He'll have the inside for the next left-hander. And he gets the job done. But no, Vettel actually got him back on the next straight due to straight line speed. But there's a yellow flag up ahead, I believe. Not too sure who or what this is for. Another safety car. You're joking me. This is for Raikkonen. He's had an engine failure. So close to the last safety car as well. And once again, the field gets bunched up. Once again, we have another chance at redemption to see if we can regain some places in this one. Raikkonen still continuing the fight here, despite his engine being absolutely cooked. I don't imagine Ferrari would be too happy with that. They might potentially go down an engine for the remaining couple of races of this season. But yeah, here we go. 7 laps to go in this Mexican Grand Prix. The only man standing between us and our first race victory is Lewis Hamilton. Oh my goodness.
Charles is currently in P5. Gap to teammate behind is 1.1 seconds. They're on old super softs.
So Charles doing really well for himself. He's in P5, flying the flag for Sauber as well. He's on the exact same strategy as us, so hopefully he can get off to a flying restart, maybe jump a car or two, and who knows, maybe even get a double Sauber podium. Dare I say it, in this Mexican Grand Prix. They're getting ready for the restart. I've been as proactive as I can be to heat up these tyres, to keep them warm over the course of this restart, but Hamilton knows, he's very smart. He's slowed up the pace so much, he's allowing all the heat to escape out of my tyres, and I'll have nothing to fight with, but I'm going to give it a solid go anyway. Here we go for the restart. Straight up in the hot lap, rich revs. Oh, that's the back end going. Yep, he's played this very, very well, to Hamilton's credit. Overtake mode is engaged because now we're under threat from Vettel. 5 laps to go in this Mexican Grand Prix, and we are defending position heading into turn 1. Very, very even between us and the Ferrari in a straight line, it must be said, but around the outside we go. Yeah, we just about have that covered off. That was really close between us and Vettel, but unfortunately, the heat-up cycle, the warm-up phase is just so crap. I can't do anything, and Hamilton has got away. To be fair, he's in a Mercedes, so I don't know if, well, that comes into it a little bit, but the heat-up phase for us needs to be better. We need to really look at that part of the setup. I've been really trying to heat up the tyres, but nothing is switching on. But anyway, P2, we still at least maintain our track position for the moment. 2 laps to go in this Mexican Grand Prix, and now Ricardo is trying to have a go at us. He managed to get past Vettel once again, so the switching of positions for P3 in this Grand Prix, it's happened again. Here goes Vettel, up the inside. Flip a coin. That's going to be your 3rd place getter in this Mexican Grand Prix. It's just toing and froing every single lap. 2nd last lap of the Grand Prix now. Charles is in the watching brief there in P5. Trying to look for an avenue if it does, you know, open up in this last lap of the Grand Prix now. So here comes Ricardo for the last time on this start-finish straight. We're going to use up all of the battery now. We have plenty of fuel left to push on this last lap. That really hasn't been an issue so far. It's really just been the battery, trying to manage that and save all the energy for the straights and just pretty much conserve through the middle sector. And yeah, we've been on a knife edge all race with the pace. You know, we've been really, really aggressive with the setup. We've had to drive really consistently, play ourselves in well with the strategy, and it looks like we are just about going to get P2 in this Mexican Grand Prix. Hamilton wins the Grand Prix. GG's to him. That restart was executed perfectly for him, but it's P2 for us. Honestly, it feels like a race win.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
A great win then for the Mercedes team today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you hit the fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So there we go, guys. Hamilton wins this Mexican Grand Prix. I tell you, I've been pushing 110% this whole season to try and get some kind of lucky or breakthrough win. Try and strike when the AI vulnerable. Just take our chances when we get them, and they're making it hard for us. They really are. That was the closest we have come to getting a race win. I tell you, if the tyres are up to temperature, we get a nice run out of the final corner, we overtake Hamilton, and arguably he may not get us back for the rest of the Grand Prix. That could have been the race win right then and there. But he's held on firm. Great job from Hamilton. Great job from Charles. Great job, everybody. That was a fantastic Grand Prix. Let's talk to Claire and see what she thought.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't make contact with anyone, so because of that, I am not going to answer that.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
Again, I didn't scrape any walls. I might have made contact with a car or two into turn 1, like on lap 1, and I think maybe Vettel once, but otherwise, no walls were touched.
Well, thanks anyway.
Fantastic podium. Well done. Keep pushing like this for the rest of the season.
Thanks, Emma. I think going forward with the interviews, if I do genuinely like crash with someone, or if I like get damage, whether it be on a barrier or anything, or if I just in general have a bad performance, from now on I am going to answer the question regardless of the consequences, whether I lose rep from Salva or other teams or whatever it might be. But if it's a case like that where I really didn't crash with anyone, I'm not going to answer the question. But anyway, that has been this episode for today, guys. Our best results of the season. Second place. We came oh so close in Singapore. You guys know exactly what happened there. But today we get some redemption and 18 points. That 100% solidifies P7 in the driver standings. Luckily I can drive. I can't really talk from this commentary. And just about every commentary or every video I do, there's just a mistake somewhere. But anyway, we're going to do an upgrade for the ERS. I've been thinking about that for the longest time, and I thought, yeah, let's bite the bullets. I think we should be fine for resource points to adapt the rest of the parts. We're going to save that for the next episode. My logic behind that is, you know, if we have enough resource points to get all the adaptations done before the end of the season anyway, let's just put those off one race and do a performance upgrade now so that we can feel the benefit now and get some extra points. I mean, even though it doesn't matter, but it would be nice still to just close that gap ever so slightly to the front-running teams. We've been spending so much of our time and resources trying to adapt these parts, and we've kind of fallen back a little bit in the development race. Renault and Haas have done really well as of late, so I'm just trying to match pace with them and make sure that they stay at arm's reach from us. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until the next race, which I believe is the Brazilian Grand Prix, I'll see you then.